asked to get involved with Franz last year because a dear friend of mine, Slouch, is one of the backline guys, and there was a vacancy and they asked me to do that, so here I am. I've mixed quite a lot of rock bands over the years, but doing monitors you end up working with all sorts of artists right across the flavours of music. I've mixed Motorhead as a monitor engineer, I've mixed Spiritualized as a monitor engineer, Beth Orton, Franz Ferdinand currently. Recent job was Morrissey. Before that I was mixing Paolo Nutini for 4 years. So really there's quite a range of flavours and styles of music and lineups and sources. I first encountered an iLive when I started doing the Morrissey touring a couple of years ago in 2012, and Milky, also known as David, has been using it at that point in time for a little while. I'd heard about it, but I'd never seen one in the flesh, so it was very interesting to see a very competent engineer like Milky using it to its fullest potential and with a lot of confidence and a lot of pleasure. And throughout the couple of years I was working with Moz, I was always having a look over his shoulder to see what he was up to. The first time I actually got to mix the band, a band, through the system was at the production rehearsals at the beginning of this tour. I'd spent quite a bit of time playing with the editor and thinking about how to deploy the surface and what sort of tricks I might want to use. There are some standard things that I have at my sleeve for this band, but also for other bands, and I had to consider before I got my hands on the desk quite what I was going to do structure-wise. But of course all that time I never quite knew what was going to happen when I actually put the inputs through it that were really going to come at me. And of course I was pleasantly surprised once I opened it all up and the band started playing, and it was 85–90% of the way there already, which was very good in my opinion. We've had a very smooth transition from the sounds that we were creating on the previous desk that I was using into this one, and I think we have managed to continue a reasonable quality of sound for all concerned. Certainly the band have been more than happy with what I managed to do with it. In the great game of comparing the sound of different desks, the iLive certainly bears up very well. It's clean, it knits together very well, the compression is top drawer, the reverb qualities are fantastic. Not that we use that much of it in monitors in this particular band, but even so, what we do use is always excellent. On this tour, I'm using an IDR-10 filled with 6 input cards and 4 output cards, one of which is a digital output card in case we need to ever run PA through it for any reason. On a surface front I'm using an i112, again a modular, and I've also got a PL10 which I'm using to do PFLs and queuing up mixes. I'm also habitually using my computer online with it as well, but pretty much mostly using that for quick edits or generically as a glorified meter bridge, so I can see all my inputs and outputs in one place no matter where I am on the surface. A little extra that I'm enjoying very much and using, I've obtained a little Airport Express Wi-Fi transmitter, and I've got the Tweak app on my phone. There's one particular mix on stage that I often delay to another mix on stage in wedges, and the Tweak app is perfect for that because I can just walk out there and play with it until it sounds exactly where it wants to be. A very fast and responsive feature. With Franz Ferdinand we run 37 channels at the moment. The band's a 4-piece, but there's plenty of keyboards as well. So we have songs where the keyboards exist and songs where they don't. So once again, the modularity of the surface enables you to reconfigure for different parts of the show, for different numbers. Not all keyboards are used all the time, so there may be one song where you only need to see one keyboard fader, and a little bit of thought there brings everything under your control very quickly. One of the pleasures of using the iLive surface is, with a little bit of forethought and consideration, you can establish the fader structure, the surface structure, in such a way that it's very fast and responsive to use, and the complexity of the system is buried underneath that and very accessible, but not right in front of you all the time. So it means I have a very fast route to any option that I might need to adjust in the heat of the moment when the band are going full tilt. It's the rule of thumb with monitors that you need to be able to get to everything all the time, and you never know what's going to happen next.